Hey there, Dr. Pamela here. And I have been getting a question from parents that comes up every year, and that is around how does my teen stand out when everyone else has perfect scores and a high GPA? So let me just share with you Haley. So Haley was one of my students, and she had a really solid, resume in terms of being involved in a number of activities at school. She had pretty good grades. Her GPA was around 3.8, and she had taken some pretty good classes, as far as them being rigorous classes, a few AP classes. And also, Haley was attending a really good high school. And yes, there were a lot of other kids at her high school who were also looking at selective colleges. And at the end of the day, Haley was able to get into one of those top colleges, and she is already freshman there and really excited about the choice that she had in terms of getting into her top choice colleges. She ended up applying to around 8 to 10 colleges and was admitted to a number of them, but the primary one that was top of her list is where she's attending, and she's really excited about that. And so you're probably wondering, with everything that she had going on and being within a competitive school, how did she do it? What did it take as far as getting into her top choice colleges? So here's the thing: there are 5 parts to the application portfolio. And I want to share with you what those 5 parts are, because as I'm, sharing with you those suggestions around the key things in terms of helping your teen to stand out in their college application process, it'll help to know what their portfolio will consist of. So, first off, before I jump into this, I think you probably understand why I use the term portfolio. And so I'm going to just go into that briefly just to share with you. So, portfolio. I mean, what do you think of when you hear the word portfolio? Just type it in the chat for me. So, right off the bat, one of the things is that it's a number of things that's involved in a portfolio. And also, the portfolio fits together like this. And so they are complementing one another as far as those assemblage of pieces that you have within a portfolio. And the portfolio has 5 parts to it for the application. Those 5 parts are the transcript and secondary school report, it's the test scores, it's the essays, it's your activities resume, and it's your teacher recommendation. So all of those things fit together in terms of a portfolio. Exactly. It's a picture of your work. That's exactly, how I would describe it as well. And so thank you for that, Victoria, a picture of your work. And so when thinking about that portfolio and those 5 parts to the portfolio, let's talk about, how does your team stand out? And what are the parts, that are going to really help them in terms of not only getting into their top choice colleges, but getting scholarships as well. And so with the test scores, the transcript, and the school report, those things, yes, they're going to look alike. And there are going to be plenty of other students at their high school who have, those great test scores, that have a transcript where they've taken rigorous courses. And of course, the secondary school report is going to be really strong as well because they're in a good high school. So nothing, to stand out about that. The other third part that's going to be similar across a number of students who are applying to similar colleges will be the teacher recommendations, because we all know to ask teachers who are going to write well about us, teachers that are usually from our junior year who can say great things. And so the teacher recommendations, nothing is going to be too different about those. But the other two parts of the portfolio that can really make a difference that I want you to really hone in on in terms of supporting your teen, that's going to be the activities resume and the essays. And so, with those two things, let's talk about the activities resume. What is it that your teen can do to really stand out in their activities resume, given that so many other kids are going to be doing similar activities also? So, first off, in the activities resume, showing commitment. That's what's going to stand out. I mean, yeah, you can have a little bit of this and that, and you could have, had a couple of hours in honor society, a couple of hours in French club or whatever, or a baking club. But what you really want to do in terms of those activities to stand out is to show commitment. Show commitment. And one of the things that colleges will be looking at is how are you going to contribute when you're at their college? And if you're a dabbler, you're just doing a little bit here and there, you have 2 hours of volunteer the whole year, that doesn't show well. It doesn't look good. And so really think about focusing in on those things that matter to you. So that's what you want to impart to your team, focusing on what matters to them. Another aspect of the activities resume that can really help them with standing out is that honor section. Oh my goodness. So I don't know if you've heard of that particular section of it, but let me just share with you. In the activities resume, there's a place for academic honors that they've received. And so many times students don't see this section until senior year. And they're just like, man, I don't have any honors, So it's good to know these things when they're in 9th and 10th and 11th grade, because that's a time when they have more control over it and being able to do something about it. And so with that, with those honors, it could be something like AP Scholar. It could be honor roll. If they have honor roll at their school, that's another way that they can stand out, is in that honor section. I had a student a couple of years ago who was really great at math. And so one of the things that he did in order to receive some honors and recognitions in math was to participate in these math, they're not math tournaments, but they're kind of like math tournaments. How else do I say it? So it was, they're competitions where they would spend a Saturday afternoon doing these math problems. And students would then be recognized at the end of the day around what awards they've received. And so this kid was participating in that. And that's how he received some math honors. And sometimes they could have honors in other classes as well, or other subject areas. They can ask their teacher about any that they know about. And that could be a way to win some type of recognition for Spanish or for some other class that they're taking. So really thinking about those honors. And that's probably something that, is often overlooked, and the students don't hear about it or see it until it's too late, in a sense. So does that make sense in terms of, those two sections of the activities activities resume? So if that makes sense to you, I want you to type a yes in the chat so I can hear from you and know that we're good. So the second big area is going to be the essays. Oh my goodness. If you have a senior right now, you are up to here in essays and hearing about the Common App essay or the supplements. Well, there are two key things that students can do to really stand out in those essays. And so one of them is going to be to focus on one thing. Oh, not going to hear that anywhere else. I mean, not going to hear that anywhere else. Focus on one thing. So oftentimes there'll be a question that says, elaborate on an extracurricular activity. And it's so easy for students to want to write about, all of the different activities. But when they say elaborate on an extracurricular activity, focus in on that one. But here's where you're going to take that a step further. Focus in on one moment in time. One moment in time. You want to describe that in such a way that the readers feel like they are right there. And that's what's going to help that essay to stand out, because it's so easy for students to gloss over things and to talk about a whole bunch of stuff, or start talking about what happened when they were born and come all the way to today. Nobody wants to hear that. You really just want to focus in on something at a deeper level, and that's going to stand out. And then the second way in terms of standing out is showing intellectual curiosity. And that could be in terms of books you've read. It could be in terms of things that you do for the sake of learning and showing that you are a learner. That's what's going to stand out, because oftentimes, when students are submitting their essays, they overlook those two very important things, and it weakens their essay. It weakens what they have to say. So if you want your team to stand out, you really want to look at those two things in terms of their activities resume and the essays as well. Now, I work with parents all over, and I'm partnering with parents to help their teen find a college that feels like home without overpaying. And oftentimes I'm working with families, in on an individual basis, and it's very much personalized to the things that they're doing. Thank you so much for that, Victoria. I appreciate that. And so when I am working with them, it's very much personalized to the things that they're involved in, and the things that are specific to their team. But coming up on this Saturday, I'm going to be doing College Prep Made Easy, and I want to invite you to join me. If you have questions about it, I want you to just type in the chat. It's not too late. Type in the chat college, and that will be a signal that you're right now you have some questions about this, and questions about college readiness and all that's going to be happening in the upcoming months for your teen. And you want to have a peace of mind with doing that, because when the parent is stressed out, let me tell you, it's going to stress out your teen as well. And we all know that this process can be really anxiety ridden and stressful and cause arguments and everything else. And I want you to enjoy these last few years while they're at home, and just enjoy that time. These high school years can be great, and you want to have that peace of mind as you're going through this process of college admissions. And I want to partner with you on that. And so I invite you to type college, in the comments, and let me know that College Prep Made Easy is an opportunity that you want to learn more about, because I'd love to, partner with you in this regard. And the website is collegeprepmadeeasy.com. So if you're ready to just jump right on in, you can do that too. But you can type college in the comments, and I look forward to talking with you next time. Take care.